together, and hopefully one day we can get some other type of financing set up to replace the impact fees, because I think that the new homeowners are basically being overburdened, particularly since the retirement communities pay nothing. I think they're getting by with us educating all their personnel for service, and they should entertain and pay part of it also. But anyway, thank you very much for considering this. These impact fees on my size homes amount to 10 to 15% of the initial cost of the house, and up to $50 to $75 per month, which could make or break somebody keeping the home and due to a loss of a job or something. And that extra money could put one of their children through college. So thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Dan Yoakum with fiscalrangers.com. As a taxpayer advocate, I just would like to point out a few things. Yesterday there was a local blog that tried to muddle this whole issue by making statements related towards the proposals by the school board about raising these taxes up to 50%. I'd just like to point out that for those that might have read that might be watching, that this board here at your previous meeting, you changed that so this ordinance only covers a 25% increase, and there's nothing in these ordinances that talk about a 50% increase. I'm on the opposite side of the Home Builders Association. They want to reduce the fees that they are charged for growth, for infrastructure caused by growth in new construction. That's an impact fee. And they want to transfer those costs of the infrastructure, and you've had presentations by the school board as well as your transportation department, Public Works, about the huge backlogs that they have because they have not been getting any revenues. Now there may be other revenue sources available and people are working on that, but right now impact fees is one that's a known commodity and a method for doing that, and I would suggest that impact fees should be reinstated to help build funds available that you need both for roads and for schools. I do not believe that new growth areas for infrastructure caused by growth, where a developer sets up a new tract or a commercial facility, they should be paying towards that infrastructure then, and not shift the entire cost to all the taxpayers through increased tax rates, whether it's sales taxes or other things. So keep that in mind. This is that in real basic terms, as some of you may agree, this is an attempt to shift the cost from the people who are creating the need for the growth costs for infrastructure. They want to shift it to all the property owners in this area that already have a house and that are living here, and I don't think that's appropriate.
I'm a licensed realtor, but I'm also a full-time employee of the Homeowners Association. So I'm looking at this from two totally different perspectives, and I'm telling you right now, a fee on every transaction is going to get you a lot more money than trying to charge it on permits and on new construction. And it's only fair because people are moving in here from out of the county, from out of the state, and they're buying resale homes because they can't afford a new home. You're going to catch a lot more if you charge a fee on every single transaction, and that's what we're trying to get you to do. Thank you.
Still a current resident here at Lake County and enjoy being here. I'm opposed to impact fees as a contractor, as a business owner, as a Home Builders Association member, as a private resident and citizen of Lake County. The impact fees are designed, as have been stated, for new growth, new construction. The impact fees are to be used for capacity in new construction, not for keeping the lights on, not for maintenance, not for upkeep. People are going to weigh the cost out over whether to go into a new home or buy one that's already up. And as Carolyn pointed out, we have that issue, which I know you guys know about. To raise the impact fees, or excuse me, not to raise them, to collect the impact fees in Umatilla does not help the situation.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you hearing us today. You know, we hear a lot about the economy, and one of the things that any board, whether it's the school board or the Lake County Board of County Commissioners, you know, this weighs heavily on all of us, and I know that. And it's very difficult to say that we have to raise taxes, especially when we're not as strong as we need to be, and we know that. However, the problem that we run into is that there is continued growth, and we are falling behind. And we have to mitigate that loss, otherwise the increase is going to have to be even greater next year. So as we step into this, some of this is just to try to do as little damage to the economy as possible while still mitigating the issue. It doesn't solve it. $10,295 solves it. So that's the problem that we run into, is that this is a mitigation issue. For those who don't know, we have been working on other alternatives, and that's the primary reason I'm before you today, is that I have been able to speak with Alan Hayes, and he has agreed to carry legislation that would allow us to move towards a real estate transaction fee. What I would ask the County Commission today is to join us in a joint resolution as far as the school board. To create this joint resolution, I think that we should have all of the stakeholders' input. And so that's why I bring that to you today, is that's something that I'd like to work with you guys on, to be able to present to our delegation on October 21st. It's an opportunity that has come up, and I think it's a good step forward. Will it pass? I don't know. But it's something that we all have talked about, we all are interested in. None of us are, I haven't met a board member yet who's a fan of impact fees. So this would be the first step forward, and if we can bring both boards and our legislative delegation together, along with our individual committees, such as Florida School Board Association, and then that you guys have with the County Commission Association, if we can bring all of those in-home builders and the real estate agents, there's so many working parts in this, I think it would be beneficial for us to do that. So I would ask you guys to come in and provide input, and maybe have somebody that you would like to work with, somebody from our board, to create that resolution to present it jointly.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, sir.
That's already been done. I was appointed by the commission, and we had a meeting with Chairman Fisher and Dr. Moxley's 6 weeks ago, maybe, David. And we outlined a process that we were going to move forward on, trying to pass legislation in Tallahassee. I don't know if Chairman Fisher appointed you to be the liaison, or whether you're doing something in addition to what she's doing. I'm not quite clear on that, but we need to make sure that we understand the process that we're utilizing as we move forward.
And my point being here today is to let you know that the road has been opened, and we do have a legislator who's willing to carry the legislation to Tallahassee. To the best of my knowledge, that had not been secured. It is now, and that's something that we need to work through Alan Hayes with that. In my conversations with Alan Hayes, he would like to make sure that we have full support of both boards and our community, and that's why I've asked that we present that to him to make sure that we move forward. I think you can still work, that the process will still work through him. It's just a matter of us saying, yes, we support this in a bipartisan, or in a bipartisan way for you guys, but in a combined board, in a joint statement to say, this is where we want to go, this is what we want to do. We believe that this is the most responsible path to take care of our economy.
Now, I did talk to Senator Hayes, because Dr. Howard had told me about his conversations with Senator Hayes, and he said that it was fine for me to go over that discussion I had with him actually last night, and that is that his proposal, what he's willing to sponsor, would be a bill that makes it an either-or proposition for each county in the state of Florida to either utilize impact fees for schools and infrastructure, or to utilize a transaction or documentary stamp. And that he had done a whole lot of research on this several years ago, and so he's got a lot of numbers and information and so forth, and his proposal would be that it would take the dock stamp that we have now, and it would probably, he would suggest a cap that would double it, with that added amount being strictly for transportation infrastructure and schools. And that each local government would have the option to go as high as they want, but not beyond the cap, you know, so, or as low as they want to go. But you would have to pick one or the other. You couldn't be an impact fee county and a dock stamp county, but, you know, you'd have to decide which direction. So, I mean, there is an opportunity because of the fact that he is willing to do this. So, you know, timing is everything.
Is it just for education or transportation?
No, he made it clear that it would have to be for transportation infrastructure as well. So that you would just, it would be, you know, divided 50% to schools and to transportation.
Well, Madam Chairman, I wouldn't be too excited about one state senator being willing to sponsor a bill. What I'd be excited about was the process that Chairman Fisher and I outlined that we were going to proceed with. Anyone can file a bill. The issue is whether you're going to be able to pass it or not. And what Chairman Fisher and I, which I have reported to this commission, is that first step is to get the Florida School Board Association and the Florida Association of Counties on board. That's going to be a vital component of whether we'll ever be able to pass it or not, because it's a steep uphill climb. That's what everybody in Tallahassee has told us. I do think a resolution from both boards would certainly be appropriate. I've asked about that in the past, but let's realize that one senator is not going to go pass a bill based on what I've been told without the support of our respective associations.
But I will say that sitting on the CFAC committee, as well as Todd was on the CFAC committee for education, or was at least at all the meetings, to have Senator Hayes and Representative Metz, but they both expressed concern about dock stamps several months ago at the CFAC committee. But now Senator Hayes, it sounds like if you've had that discussion with him, that is progress in the right direction.
Into Mr. Connor's position, I've actually been working on this since before I got elected, and I worked on it in 2010 with Senator Hayes, and at that time he told me, no, you cannot do it.
Right.
And so this has been working with Senator Hayes all along through this. The timing was not correct this year. He said that it was. And so it's not that I'm trying to bypass you or Chairman Fisher. This is something that's been ongoing. You know, it's something that we recognize. It's something that I ran on. So this is just a continuation of that. So I do apologize if you felt like I was bypassing you. That wasn't my intention. But yes, he has been willing, and so now it's just, we now have the opportunity to move forward, whereas we didn't before.
So are you here speaking for or against impact fees today?
As I said, on the impact fees, I do believe we need the impact fees at the $2,500 as the first step. But this was also in addition to that.
But you would be obviously supportive if this legislation were to be adopted, that you would then support Lake County being, using the dock stamp as a...
Absolutely, and that's why I'm here today, is to, yes, we need this, but yes, we're also working on this, and now we have a step forward to move forward.
Yeah, and I mean, when we had our joint session with the school board, I sat here and said 2 or 3 times that there is a solution, and it's dock stamps. I mean, I couldn't make that any plainer than, you know, than what I said at that joint meeting. But it's an uphill climb in Tallahassee, and you know, Dr. Howard, you don't owe me an apology. I was just trying to outline a path to where we can be successful, and I just think that having the respective organizations be on board is from what people in Tallahassee have told me. Having the associations on board is a critical component when it comes to the legislature. I'm glad that Senator Hayes, who's a fine man, is willing to sponsor legislation, but, you know, how far will it go when it gets there?
Yeah, I think that the thing that concerns me, though, is that this is the kind of thing that if it gets traction and you've got an open door, you hate to miss that opportunity, even if it's just to get the dialogue going at a more detailed level than it has in the past. In the past, it's been more of a conceptual oh, realtors are never going to support dock stamps, we're never going to get that past the real estate lobby, that type of thing. Now, I think that Senator Hayes has backed up and said, okay, this could be viable if you made it an either or, so that you either did impact fees or you did this, and that it was home rule, county by county, you made your own decision. So it would at least, if we could support it, get the dialogue going, and in the meantime, I think we reach out and we use Commissioner Connor to continue reaching out to the Florida Association of Counties and Commissioner Cadwell as well, to get their input and to get, find out if we can get support. And we may get further into this and look at numbers and so forth and decide that maybe it isn't such a great idea. I think we do need to get further into the details, but I think that the opportunity being there, that at least getting the dialogue going is a positive step.
And that's where I come from, is that I reluctantly have to support impact fees, but I also know that this has opened the door, and I think that Mr. Connor's right, that the pathway is there now. We show the support, we move forward, and we need to go to our respective organizations to make sure that that support's there. I've already presented this to the school board as well, so I appreciate y'all's support. Thank you.